Thousands of young adults, both male and female, are going crazy over tiny, cute, and cuddly cartoon characters.
Jake, what are you talking about? What?
Shh, shh, shh. There is a Pikachu right there. Got it.
Got him. Oh, good.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jake. Welcome to the official Plugged In Vodcast. I'm sitting here alongside
Adam Holtz,
and we're talking about kind of like an uber insane mega craze.
Uber insane mega craze captures it very well. We're talking about Pokemon Go today, and you would have to be trapped in a very small red and white ball.
Have you heard of this? It's kind of small.
Know what's happening, right?
Oh yeah, it's huge. The Pokemon are probably the only ones who aren't in on the joke yet.
That's right. They're
like, all of a sudden people are capturing us.
That's right. They're wondering why they're not free anymore. But
So
we're getting off track here. So Pokemon Go is a new video game. Really unlike any kind of game you've probably ever seen before.
This is not your grandma's video game.
This is not your grandma's video games. We're going to just sort of talk through the nuts and bolts of what it is and how it works, and then sort of talk about
pros and cons.
Why does it matter, and how do we need to think about it?
And should we be freaked out about this, or is there more to it?
Or just catching Pikachus as fast as we possibly can.
Yeah. And I said it's not your grandma's video game, but the thing is, your grandma might already be playing
Might be your parents' video game, though.
Yeah. Like, okay, because, Pokemon are typically aimed at a younger demographic. Like,
that's right. 8 to 12.
This is kind of like weird throwback Thursday for me, because Pokemon cards and the TV show were huge when I was a kid. And now my kids are that age, and it's still around. I think it'd be a thing for them, but all of a sudden I'm the crazy one, catching rats in Rattatas and in the Doritos aisle at the local grocery store.
So Jake, tell people kind of what's this game all about? How does it work?
Yeah.
I've heard it's called Augmented Reality.
Right.
What does that mean?
That's the buzzword. What is augmented reality?
It's better than reality, right? Because it's augmented.
To some people it is. Yeah, to some people it is. So Pokemon Go is a free app that you download, whether you have an Android device or an Apple device, and you download it to your phone, and you create your little character, and you're placed in this virtual world that is actually the real world. The maps in the game are the world around you, the buildings, the streets, the locations. There are, it populates all this data from the world around us to create Pokestops.
Thank you, Google, right?
Yeah, thanks, Google. This is what Google Street was setting up all this time. So there are Pokestops where you can collect items that are around these recognizable landmarks in the world around us.
Yeah, like one of them here at Focus on the Family is actually the 10 Commandments landmark.
Interestingly enough.
It will take you there. It's kind of wild.
And there's these gyms where you can battle other Pokemon trainers. And why it's augmented reality is it forces you to walk around. You can't just play it from your house.
Hence the go part.
Yeah. It wants you to get up and go. And so it gets you walking around to hatch eggs that have Pokemon on it, walking around to catch Pokemon in the wild. Like I said, I was at a local grocery store, and I caught it trying to get my chips. And don't mess with my chips.
No.
Ever.
Yeah, and I actually was downtown in Colorado Springs last night, and I walked around for about 2 hours just all over downtown, and I was kind of stunned how many people were playing. Right. I mean, it wasn't 5, it was probably 50, maybe 100.
Yeah.
Probably half the people I saw were playing. And I think anytime there's a craze like this that sort of sweeps through the nation, and man, this one has come on like a tsunami.
Right.
I mean, it came out 8 days ago, and they've had millions and millions and millions of people download this game, and they're playing all over the place.
More daily users
than Twitter,
Snapchat. Like, it's more popular than all these apps that we were like, oh, it's Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Because it's free to play,
right?
But free to play doesn't mean totally free. Like it's another thing to know about the game is if you want to, grow your skills even faster, you can make purchases within the game to help you upgrade and things like that. And they seem pretty cheap.
Right.
Like like
sort of
these
like
upgrades are
coffee
for
every day at
$1
Starbucks seems pretty
and
cheap.
So that's I mean it's driven a ton of sales, millions of dollars of sales.
Yeah.
And driven Nintendo's stock up, and so people are kind of going crazy. They're getting out in the streets on this thing.
Yeah. So anything like that, I think we here at Plugged In and Focus on the Family, and as Christians, we want to say, so what? How should we think about this? Because obviously,
what do we do with all this craze?
Trends come and go, and this is the latest one that we really need to engage with. And I downloaded the game yesterday, and I played for probably 2 or 3 hours last night. A little bit with my 10-year-old son. Mostly I was just on my own. My family was at church, and so I just wandered around downtown, and people said, look at the old man playing Pokemon. But I felt like it gave me a good sense for at least the basic sort of game. And I sort of have this glass half full, glass half empty perspective on it.
Yeah.
As video games go, man, it's pretty innocuous.
Right.
I mean, there's no violence, there's no gore, there is
M-rated
stuff.
But right, it's pretty cartoonish.
But it's
there's
cartoonish.
No blood
Yeah. I mean, it's not, I guess, violence like modern warfare.
Right. It's these creatures battling each other, and it's lots of anime slashes and stuff like that.
So as video games go, it's pretty tame, and I think the really interesting thing about this one is you have to go.
Right, you got to be
play
walking.
it. You can't just sit at home and play it. Well, you could, but it would be very, very boring.
You wouldn't play it very long.
You wouldn't play it very long, and so lots of people are talking about how it's getting people up and moving. Like I said, I walked for probably 2 hours last night, which is longer than I normally probably would have walked. But the flip side of that, and this is in some ways maybe one of the biggest problems, is people lose track of where they're at. There were 2 guys that walked off a cliff today. Yeah. I think they're going to make it, but one of them fell 50 feet.
Right.
Another guy had a car wreck. And I've also seen warnings about how you get so engrossed in the game, you don't realize that you've wandered into a bad neighborhood.
Right.
People are having trespassing issues. The Holocaust Museum said, hey,
please
maybe don't play Pokemon at the Holocaust Museum, which
it's a good life tip.
Is probably fair. And so it sort of raises the questions of boundaries.
Right. And not just time boundaries.
No, physical boundaries.
But physical limitations on where we're going to go.
Because it covers the whole world. I ran into 2 guys from Kansas City last night, and they were jazzed out of their minds because they said, you have all kinds of Pokemon here that we don't have in Kansas City.
Yeah, and if you go by bodies of water, there's different Pokemon there than there are, at the foot of the mountains here.
And so there's this sort of almost this ecological milieu, this place that you have to explore, and so there's a lot of creativity in it.
Yeah.
But like any video game, I think the danger is you can get so engrossed in it that even though you are out and about in the world, it's still all about the digital reality.
Right. Yeah.
And so, even though I related to a bunch of people last night, we were sort of relating like Pokemon zombies because we were all walking around,
Yeah, right.
Looking for these imaginary
You weren't intentionally
creatures.
Connecting, you just happened to bump into each other. And so I think that makes it cool. Like, even if we're not playing, we can use this kind of augmented reality. This new
No. It doesn't make that noise, but it should.
It's gonna keep especially with this insane success. It's gonna keep growing. There's gonna be more games like this. I've seen Kickstarters for games where you're playing paintball with people using your phone and the camera on your phone and hitting them and stuff like that in the real world. And so now our conversations as adults for ourselves and with our kids have to be around these have to set up new physical boundaries in some way, and communication around when and where we're going to be places and what is off limits. Because all these scary stories about people finding crazy things or running into crazy places or off of cliffs, they're not the game directing them to do that.
Right.
It's not like it's not like the game is insidious in that way. But
there's none of that.
But it's our misuse. It's our lack of boundaries or our lack of control over ourselves, self-control. That's going to be really important here. So,
well, and even yesterday, I downloaded it here at Focus at work because it's my job to know these things, and now I'm trying to help you guys. And I was walking across a parking lot.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for Pokemon.
Right.
It's kind of like having a metal detector in some ways. And you have to remind yourself, hey, dummy, don't get hit by a car. as we play this little Pokemon scavenger hunt.
Right.
I mean, it really, in some ways, is as much like a scavenger hunt
exactly.
as anything.
Very, very similar to that, with fewer clues,
Right.
And so it kind of makes
and
it
a
all
lot
the
more people
exciting,
playing,
and a lot more people playing it. So that's kind of the long and short of it. When it comes to this game, like there's a lot of out there people freaking out, saying it's the most amazing thing ever. People saying the most worst thing ever in the whole world. And the truth is always right there.
It's always in the middle.
And so, we wanted to kind of bring you guys those facts and some takeaway there, so that you're not wandering around in the street like Adam was. Or, for me, freaking in people out in the Sam's Club parking lot because you're wandering in and out between all the cars trying to find that Pokemon.
Mommy, what's that man doing?
It's okay.
He's just playing Pokemon Go,
just
son.
playing Pokemon Go.
Oh, burn.
So, what do you guys think? Have you tried the game? Have you heard the stories? Are you afraid of it? Are you loving it? What kind of thoughts have you had? How has it impacted your life? Are you going for more walks? Because Adam is.
I walked like 3 hours yesterday.
And so we want to hear what it's meant in your own circles and what are those conversations. So be sure to comment below and also like and subscribe to us on YouTube because we want to keep bringing you these podcasts. So that's all we have for this time. I'm Jake signing off.
I'm Adam.
We'll catch you guys on the flip side.
See you later.